You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building.
Hold on. Flatbush's own, Brooklyn's own, because you know I'm from Flatbush too.
Holla, that's what's up.
Yes. Now you can go ahead, Envy.
She's only from Flatbush when it's convenient. Sometimes she's from Jersey.
I can't help
Michael
it.
K. Williams.
What up?
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How's everything?
Every life is good, man. I'm still vertical.
Okay, that means
I wook up this morning. We take it there.
absolutely.
Real early this morning.
Now,
like
Superfly.
Superfly early this morning.
Now, Superfly comes out this weekend.
Yes, sir.
I see you got you're an OG in Superfly.
Of course
Yeah,
he
man.
is.
Scatter. OG in real life, OG in the film.
Explain your part in Superfly.
Basically, Scatter is he trained priest. Brought him up, put him in
Jackson.
Trevor Jackson, played by Trevor Jackson. And he, taught him how to fight, put him in the game and everything, and and the pup starts to buck.
Right. And it looks like in the promos that you have the buck back.
Yeah, basically, but that's that's the evolution of life, right? Eventually, the student's going to become the teacher.
Right.
Eventually,
Hopefully.
hopefully,
Yeah.
right?
Now, did you train martial arts before this, or did you know martial arts?
A little bit. I trained a little bit with my brother, Sensei Harris, out there in Newark, New Jersey. But I must say, training and all, I felt really proud of myself that my old ass hung in there for 8 hours fighting a 21-year-old.
Right.
I felt real good.
What belt were you? What belt did you get up to?
Didn't make it.
You didn't give me the belt?
Nah.
Girl, you didn't really train. At least I was white, yellow, green. I was at least a purple belt.
I think I get past white, man.
You get past white, that's the belt they give you. Goodness
So you
gracious.
are a white belt. We can say that because they give it to you.
Technically,
according to
I'm a
Envy.
white belt.
You
basically.
started with a
belt.
white belt. Yeah, then they put a
Yeah.
All right,
stripe
so he's a
on you.
white belt. Let him be a white belt.
I'm a white belt.
You didn't get a stripe
Envy?
on your white belt?
Nah, man.
And he's a beige belt.
I couldn't
Hey,
just do it.
watch
Just doing
your
the
mouth.
wire
I
days.
was
I couldn't
purple,
keep up. Shout out to Sensei Harris.
All right, now aside from Superfly, you've been doing such great work, and I love watching you on Raising the System on Vice because I feel like that's such a touching, for us to be educated on what's going on with these kids in the juvenile system and how kids end up in the system throughout their life, and it starts at such a early age. That has to be something for you that you have such passion for, especially for people that don't understand it. Like, they might look at these kids and be like, oh, he committed this crime, put him away for life. But you delve into these kids' stories and see what actually really happens in the system and in the communities that makes them turn out the way they have.
Yes, yeah, Angela. I didn't. Let me just go on the record. When I started this journey to produce Raising the System, I was clueless to a lot of things. I was really ignorant. So I learned just the way the viewing audience learned. It was shortly after my friend and mentor Michael Skolnick had became the go-between to getting me a visit at the White House, where I sat in a room adjacent from the Oval Office, and 30 people in my cell. We sat there with President Obama then and spoke about criminal justice reform. So two things were happening with me. One, I was geeking, and I finally made it into the White House
Gotcha.
while President Obama was there. And then I started to tweak, like, what the hell do they want with me? Like, what do I know about this topic? And then Michael, he leaned over and he said, well, Mike, the ones closest to the problem are usually the ones closest to the solution. So my bell rang off. I came back home to the producer's advice, and I was like, look, I've never been to prison, but I got a lot of friends and family people that I love in my life that have. I've been making visits, since I was 17 years old. I'm still making visits. Shout out to my boy Jimmy Roseman, but that woke me up. That woke me up, and I said, look, I think we have something here. How can we show that? How can I show that this is something that's got to be something here with all my friends? How do I have so many people that I know and love in prison? And then I got introduced to this topic, this thing that we have in America called this system that they call the school to prison pipeline. And I was like, what is this? Like, what do you mean the school to prison pipeline? I had to sit down and really meditate on that and think about exactly what that was. And I wanted to find out more. And I found out some sobering realities, some facts about our country. Number one is America is number one in policing and arresting its young people. We lead in the world most young people arrested, juvenile arrest, is America, number one. Number two, America, prison is big business in America. I believe, an $80 billion business in America. And then thirdly, how they fill in this prison. This is a business like real estate. If you and I make a building, go build a building in Manhattan, a real estate building, what we gonna want to do? Fill those apartments, right?
Put people in there, that's right.
Same thing with the prisons. And I found out that they were preying on brown kids in low income community. So it woke me up. And speaking to the I'm blanking on his name right now, the professor in Temple University, he broke it down to me, from a clinical aspect, that America criminalizes adolescent behavior. And I had to scratch my head and think about that too. I'm like, what does the word adolescent mean, really? It's a nice, pretty, scientific word for dumb shit. We gonna do dumb shit in our adolescence, and if we're in a low income community, we're criminalized for it. And those are the things that I wanted to learn. I learned on this journey making the doc, and I just wanted to put that out there to young people that there's a system in play designed for them to fail. It's a game being played, and the rules are rigged. And I just want to wake people's eyes up to what's going on.
And it educated a lot of people who watched the show that had no idea. Just like you said, there were a lot of things that you weren't hip to until you started doing this show. And I think that's great. I saw there was one 13-year-old, and he pushed a police officer because his parents are fighting over custody.
Right.
Of him. So imagine he's going through that. And then I'm sure he wasn't thinking, I'm going to shove it, like purposely, shove.
No, he's 13 years old. He wanted to go be with his dad. Is that a crime? You know what I'm saying? So again, that's what I mean by criminalizing adolescent behavior.
Right.
You look at someone like my nephew who's in India, Doc, as well. Shout out to Dominic this morning, brother. His bad mistake was he took an illegal firearm to a lit situation. His twin brother was being accosted by a group of men over a girl. Sound familiar? Young boys fighting over a chick, right? His only crime was he had way too much access to an illegal firearm. And in the hood, what we're taught to do, protect our family.
Right.
And he did that by the best means he knew how. He basically tripped over an illegal firearm in Flatbush. From Vanderveer, right? So it made a bad decision. In our community, we're not really allowed. We don't get the luxury of making bad choices.
No, you don't get a second chance.
No, not really. You know what I mean? So just wanted to put that out there. And
But what after doing this doc, can you say things have changed, or what's the process of changing it, or was it just to open people's eyes?
I can't really. I can hope that it starts a dialogue to begin to change people's concepts and how we deal with our young people who make bad choices. We can't just keep locking everybody up, all our kids up. That's not going to lead anywhere, But for me, this was more of a self journey. I needed to find out. When I left the White House that day, I was literally foaming at the mouth. Something was building inside me. I didn't really know what was going on. I just wanted to get this out, and as a result of that, I've been empowered. Like, I met some beautiful people on the road out there doing this doc. The brothers out there in Richmond, California, who started the program, the ONS, which stands for Officer Neighborhood Safety. Brother Devin, he took formerly incarcerated men and women, trained them, got them the legal classification called the change officers, and went out there into the same community they was banging in, and started to recruit young brothers off the street who were capable of or maybe already had committed a gun violence, and brought them into this 18-month program where they were incentivized through like $1,000 a month to create a life map and go after it. And people start to call him like, yo, this dude is paying for peace, right? Trying to give him this negative press. But he's like, well, it costs $200,000 per person a year to lock up in the state of California. The average stay, 3 to 5 years. In his words, you do the math. He's taking $9,000 from the same budget to turn kids' lives around. And it's working. In 4 years, he dropped the murder rate, because in case you didn't know, Richmond, California sits just outside of Oakland, and it was our murder capital of America at one point. but it didn't get the coverage because no tourism goes there. Who gives a shit about brown kids killing each other in Richmond, California, right? So, but it was our murder capital at one point, and he got that. She got those numbers cut in more than half in less than about 4 years or
That's
less.
dope.
You know, I learned about this judge in Toledo, Ohio. Her name is Judge Cubbin, and she did something miraculous too. She got tired of seeing the recidivism of these young boys coming in and out of her court system. And her only option was to send them to kids services, which is kid prison, right? So she took the money that was already in her county. She didn't ask for shit, no extra money, right? Took the money that was already allotted to her county and got with. It was the oddest thing. It was like, I call it the surrogate court. All women worked in this courtroom, right? And you could see it was like the maternal care. It was instinctive, right? And they got together and created these programs. Roadblocks, road bumps, if you want to trip them up, for you can't get them. Slow them down a little bit. These programs, and while they were in these programs, she started to teach them like these cognitive skills, just basic life skills,
right?
And it's working. So that inspired me, right? So like I said, my nephew Dominic just came home, 20 years. 20 years, 7 months, and 50 days. He's, as he called it. He even got the hours and the minutes down packed, right? He came home, man, and we got together and we formed MKW, which is a nonprofit, and the MKW stands for Making Kids Win. So
Michael K. Williams.
Well, yeah, but,
oddly enough.
But we already started. We're registered in the state of Delaware. Got all our licensing straight. Now we're in the process of creating our programming. And basically, I'm just going to take a page out of Brother Devin's book in Richmond, California at the ONS. And my big sister, Rosie Perez, she put me down with the UPA, which is Urban Arts Partners here in New York City, and they combine the arts and academia. So I'm just going to take a slice of each one of those pages and put it together, and hopefully I can make a change in my community. So that was the main thing I got from making this doc. Was,
do you look at...
I got activated.
You got activated. Do you look at, like, roles you take now? Because,
man, I love seeing Omar and Talkie White doing this great work for the kids.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Because
Scatter.
We talk about influence a lot of times. And a lot of times kids follow what they believe or what they see, whether it's drug dealers or basketball players. And sometimes I feel like if they see more of things other than, it will encourage them to do better than, And you look at those roles?
You're right, Envy. I just look at my roles as first of all, as work, as entertainment, and two is if it's out there, if I believe the storyline, if I believe this life that this character is living is real, if it rings true to me, then I'm going to do it, right? But and in that, I also say, if the radio and the television is raising your kid is in serious trouble.
That's right.
And that's just a fact, right? We're
video
entertainers.
Games are going to influence you.
If that's what's raising your kid's in trouble. My mother always said, if you don't raise them, the streets will. So, I'm an entertainer, and if I see a child of a certain age running up to me, he knows The Wire, that's a problem. If if you're under 10 years old,
you should know The Wire, right?
You should really know, come on, right? So, but I do, especially with The Wire. I did early on in my career, I grappled with that, because The Wire was it was a lot going on with my character, and I did grapple with that. Like, am I, helping or hurting the situation? Especially the scene between the standoff between Omar and Stringer Bell. Excuse me. That I grappled with that a lot that day. And if anyone that was on the set, shout out to Idris Elba. I actually, I cried that day, man, because there was a lot going on. I was losing a good buddy. It was like, not good. That's a workplace. Let's not forget we got along out there in Baltimore. So I was losing a co-worker, and I was like, why come these two dark-skinned alpha males got to be killing each other? Why can't these two kings come together? Why can't we show that? But that's not what's really going down in the streets, right? So, I grappled with it. And I remember he had to come in, man, just like, give me a hug, like, say, bro, it's all right. It's not about you. You know what I mean? But I do grapple with that.
Well, doing Superfly must have been fun for you then.
Man, Superfly was real fun. And I just got to give a shout out, man, to my young brothers, Trevor Jackson and Jason Mitchell. There were a lot of pluses for me taking the role of Scatter. and meeting those two brothers was definitely at the top of it. I was a huge fan of Jason from Compton, straight out of Compton and Mudbound, and I was curious to see what kind of human beings were they. You know, I just wanted to be around them and feel them and stuff like that. And to me, out of all the, you know, the accolades and the press and the hype that the movie's getting, I can say personally, walking away from that experience, I made two friends, those two young brothers, and I'm really proud of them. I expect big things, especially from that brother Jason, man.
We look forward to seeing it, man. We got to make sure our community goes and supports these movies. That's the only way they're gonna, you know, I ain't gonna say allow us, but that's the only way we're gonna be able to shoot more and more of these movies, and they give us the budget for these movies if we go out and really support. So definitely go out and support. How was working with Little X?
Little X, man, he was, you know, he knows what he wants, man. He's a visionary. He's a music video director. He's a visionary, and it was really good to see him, you know, with the iconic, you know, Joel Silverman, who was real hands on with this film, man. It was really good to see him hold his own and run his ship, because it was a huge production, man, for a first time director, and he held his ground. You know, I'm real proud of him.
I saw you on Drop the Mic going at Trevor. I have to say, you're a pretty good rapper.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I try. That's my shower passion, my fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Rapping.
I'm a shower rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought Trevor was gonna smash. You know, because he's a singer and you know he performs like that. And I was like, all right, I know
that's my joint.
So you kind of killed him in the Drop the Mic. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave the singing alone. I leave the singing to the youngin'.
There you go.
Don't step in the ring with the king.
I could see you doing a role as a rapper or something.
I would love to, man. I would love to. Maybe, hopefully, if I don't get too old, I could play X. You know, he had an amazing story.
Oh, that would have now him playing DMX.
That would be dope. Yeah.
You know, ODB was on the plate, man. I thought that was really gonna happen. We were this close to closing, but I think the rights with the music with his wife, I think that kind of fell apart. The deal with that kind of fell apart. And the movie went shortly thereafter.
Man, that would be incredible. If they do a Wu-Tang movie, you got to play ODB.
Oh, man, you know, I hope he was a baby when he passed, man. I'm on the other side of 50.
I feel like they could make you look like a baby. Still.
You think so? Yeah. Shit.
Plus, you from Brooklyn, too.
You already know. I got to rap. I'm a rap. I'm do the best I can.
Since we from Flatbush, I was watching Special Ed on Unsung the other day.
Wow.
I was like, damn, there's a lot of information I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man, the struggle was real back in the day, man. We stand on the shoulders of a lot of pioneers. Can't never forget it. In fact, one day I was here, I heard I listen to you a lot in the morning, man. In fact, I take y'all on the road. I got the app.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Here we go.
For real.
Get that app.
You know, when you alone, you know, when you out there on the road, y'all, just hearing y'all, man, kind of makes me, it's a taste of home.
Yeah.
So anyway, I listened to the, I think I had Missy Elliott and Timbaland up here one time, and she was breaking it down about, you know, that's because when she got put on, that didn't make, you know, like when Beyonce got put on, that didn't make Tina Turner irrelevant. Like when she got put on, that didn't make all the hip hop queens irrelevant. And she was talking about, you know, relevancy and the old school merging with the young school, and we gotta, like, you know, we're a community, we gotta stick together.
Absolutely.
You know, and going back to what you said also too, you're right about the content. You know, we're a very diverse people. You know, so coming from the hood, you know, there are a lot of success stories in the hood that, you know, that don't include sports or entertainment.
Absolutely.
That we don't hear about. You know what I mean? And you know, with my production company, Freedom Productions, I aim to tell those other stories from the hood. You know, I just optioned a book from a friend and brother of mine, Steven Mizell from Brooklyn. We call him Miz, and he wrote a book. It was a hood classic called Bishop. He sold like 40,000 units out of the trunk of his car, right there in Brooklyn. And I optioned his book, and we got a deal at Fox Searchlight through Viceland. And it's basically it's a coming of age, cautionary hip hop love story. And I'm real proud of it. You know, I ain't gonna call their names right now. I ain't gonna put them on blast, but I think we got our 2 leads, our 3 leads actually. And I'm really excited about it. We hope to be in production by the end of this year.
Dope, man. Well, keep
Was
influencing
it
the
always
youth,
the goal
man.
to
We
go from
appreciate that.
acting
Thank you, brother.
to having your own shows?
Oh, not directing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not directing. I'm not a writer.
Not a writer.
I'm just producing.
Right,
Producing, okay.
But I like the evolution too, from the acting to, you know, watching you on Vice, and then also now producing. And
Thank
all of
you.
that. I think that's dope.
Thank you, man. You know, life is short, and my brother, my little brother had a saying. inspire before you expire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's all about the next generation. And you know, they inspire me again. Like being on the set with Trevor and Jason, man, seeing them, they're the next generation. You know what I'm saying? And to see them just, you know, doing it, man, it just, you know, makes me feel good.
You ever had to work with people you didn't like?
You know, not really. No.
That you were like, they kind of.
Nah. You know, cause I basically I come to get down. You know, I don't really go into the project looking for friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, I'm cool with my life the way it is. So I go to work and I'm cordial to everybody, but I keep a very professional, I guess, shield or wall up. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my character. But every once in a while, there'll be someone will break that, pierce my armor, like Trevor and Jason. They pierce my armor. I hang out with them on the off time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, you know, I kind of stay sucker free, basically.
Absolutely.
Unfuckwittable.
Unfuckwittable.
You never had to work with Harvey Weinstein or nothing.
No, I worked for him. I think he produced The Road, what I did against Viggo Mortensen, which a role I'm very proud of. I think he produced that. He was at the premiere in New York City, and that was my one and only time meeting him. Mm. But I wasn't wearing a dress, so I guess.
Oh, so he
wasn't wearing a dress that day.
Well, Superfly comes out today, and make sure y'all go check it. We appreciate you for joining us, man.
No doubt, brother. Thank
Keep
you for having
inspiring
me.
the youth.
Yes, sir.
It's Michael K. Williams. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.